I have found abuse come my way in business, in my career before starting my business, in family dynamics as an adult, and I have a choice. And that's one of the things that I think makes things the most powerful for us to remember, is that we have choices. So how are we choosing to live our lives? How are we choosing to feel, to think? What boundaries are we setting? How are we choosing to allow people to treat us?
Okay, everybody. Welcome back to Flip That Mindset. I am your host, Stacey Uhrig, and I'm really happy to have Jackie Roby back with us today. If you didn't catch Jackie's first interview with us, you're going to want to look for the link in the show notes to her courageous interview in which she shared with us the experience of being molested by a family member as a young child, experiencing domestic violence, and really the turn of events that caused her to realize what had happened to her in childhood, because she had blocked that out. And what we're going to use this episode today to talk about is how she went from surviving to thriving. She really went through such an intense journey of not just recognizing what had happened, but the healing journey. And I really want her to be able to share what that looked like for people that might find themselves in a similar experience. But what I want to start with is something that Jackie ended with in the last episode, which was she was sharing that in this 15-year intense therapeutic journey, there was a part of her that was actually denying herself the reality. Like there was a part of her that was like, maybe I am right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're right. The people in her family that were not owning up and not embracing her story and making her question herself and creating that self-doubt. And I myself have found myself in situations in my own childhood where there were things happening that I knew were happening. It was very clear to me that it was happening. And anytime I tried to express it to a parent, I was denied my reality. And that continued well into my adulthood. And not only did it continue, I was made into the bad person very often. Oh, I'm just an exaggerator. I'm a storyteller. I'm a town crier. Whatever the language is, the self-doubt that it creates is so pervasive because it doesn't stay in a box. It seeps into every aspect of your life, right? What I heard in my mind probably about 8 years ago was a saying, and I just take it. It was a spiritual guide thing. Somebody said something to me from another realm and it stuck. And it's this: you don't need other people's validation of your story in order for it to have been true. Mm-hmm. If it's true for you, then it's enough. So I'm going to repeat that again. You don't need other people's validation of your truth in order for it to be true. And I heard this so clear and so resounding in my head during a time where I was being questioned or doubted, or, things were being said about me that I knew were not truthful. And I just remember thinking, if the people that are listening to that believe what's being told to them, then they don't know me. And if they got to know me, they can make their own decisions about me, but I don't need other people's validations of who I am in order for me to know I'm a good person, I'm caring, I'm kind, I'm compassionate. I'm not the person that somebody else is trying to portray me as, because often when you're the speaker of truth, right, you're then made into the bad person so they can all be the victims. Right? It's a very natural occurrence, unfortunately. Let's bury her in mistruths and get people to see her in a negative light, because it'll be easier for me to do that than for people to realize I'm not protecting my child, or I'm not saying kind things about my child, or I'm not being a supportive parent. I can't handle the fact that people would admit that. So I'm just going to let her take the fall. That's what I heard you saying at the end of our last episode. So I just wanted to put a little reference to that. So here we are. You've been through this intense journey, this intense experience. What did you learn about yourself in your therapy journey, this 15-year therapy journey, that brought you to be the powerhouse mindset coach, speaker that you are today?
I learned that my voice matters. I learned to see how I shrink myself. And I say that present tense because it doesn't stop. And I found myself in scenarios where I still do it, and I have to be mindful and create change.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that it's okay if I make people uncomfortable, as long as I'm creating something that is comfortable for me. And I say that intentionally when I think about setting boundaries.
Yeah. But people don't understand what boundaries are.
Yeah.
People think setting a boundary is often put in place to punish somebody or to make somebody feel bad. It has nothing to do with the other person. It all has to do with the person willing to set the boundary. It's them saying, I matter, as you just said, I'm enough. And if no one's going to prioritize me and my needs and my worth, I must do it first for me. I love myself enough to know that I receive what I accept. And if I don't like what's on the receiving end, then the only person that can change whether or not I accept it is me. So I no longer accept this bullshit. It's clear to me this will never change. So I will set a boundary that will best serve my needs, to keep me less activated, to keep me out of scenarios where my nervous system doesn't get active, because I know that my mind and body will work for me. And that, as you said, sometimes we still get triggered. That's natural. Our body has been with us for 40, 50 years. In our case, right? Our mind's been working in our benefit for 40 to 50 years. They are your ride or die. I can't completely control every single thing my body and my mind feel if I'm around people that don't leave me feeling seen as safe or valuable or important or necessary. So that's your perception. That's fine, but I'm not going to put myself in that position. That's the boundary, guys. I'm enough. I say no. I receive what I accept, and I don't accept this. And people will try to say, well, that's going to make everybody else feel uncomfortable if you don't show up, or if you say no, just do it. And it's that setting the boundary is so hard, because it really is a testament to how much are you willing to finally put yourself first. This is not about being selfish. This is about survival of your state of being. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, one of the sayings that stuck with me from leaving the domestic violent relationship and healing from that was, you teach people how to treat you. And that's what I think of when I think of boundaries.
Yeah.
And it all just really comes back to our self-love and our self-worth. So I remember that I love myself enough to set them.
Mm.
you know, even boundaries in place, even through all of the healing, we find ourselves in scenarios over and over again that are testing them. I have found abuse come my way in business, in my career before starting my business, in family dynamics as an adult, coming from my own stepdaughter. And I have a choice. And that's one of the things that I think makes things the most powerful for us to remember is that we have choices. So, how are we choosing to live our lives? How are we choosing to feel, to think? What boundaries are we setting? How are we choosing to allow people to treat us?
Mm-hmm. It's so true. And, as a certified trauma recovery coach, we basically have a handful of guideposts that we work through and we work by. And, one of the massive goals, even though our clients set the goal, the general goal is for them to be able to find that voice and have choice. It's all about voice and choice.
Mm-hmm.
What I say matters. And I have the ability to express myself without fear. And this is not, I always share with people, and I know you can probably resonate with this. When you're going through your healing journey, regardless of what your adverse experience was growing up, healing is a long, lifelong process. I never think of anything as healed. I am a trauma recovery coach. I am a fantastic practitioner of rapid transformational therapy. I have all the tools. I tap, I do all the things. I just booked a new counselor for myself. And it's been a long time since I've been with a therapist because I've been working with coaches for the last 10 years. But I hired a therapist who specializes in internal family systems because it's something that I specialize in and I believe in that modality. And she also is obviously trauma trained and she's a clinical hypnotherapist. And I'm going to her because I still have this. I've been a person that has suffered from anxiety and panic a large part of my life. And even though I do this work, I still go through moments where that gets triggered. And what I want people to understand is that all of us, we're human. We're all living a human experience. The human experience sucks. It's really hard. And our body is going to react in kind to fear. And there's a lot of fear around us in the world, within our own families, within, the world itself. If you're a parent, you're living in fear 24/7. If you care enough about your kid, you're just constantly worrying and making sure they're okay. And what I've learned is that for me, the goal is always that if I'm going to have this natural reaction in my system, I'm looking for a decrease in intensity, a decrease in duration, meaning how long it stays in my system and how frequently it comes up. The goal is I'll never feel challenged again, because you will be so disappointed if that is your goal. The goal is peace. So what can peace look like? When I have a reaction, it's not as intense, it doesn't last as long, and I don't get them as often as I used to. Maybe it happens once a month, whereas before it would happen every day except for 3 days in a month, right? That's progress, that's growth. And then being able to prove to yourself, wow, I know that if I had been in this particular circumstance 3 years ago, that would have led me into a 3-day panic attack. So 20 minutes, not so bad. 1 day, not so bad. Growth. right? So on your own healing journey, how do you use that same kind of concept? Where do you see that happening for you?
I'm so grateful that you highlighted that. And thank you for sharing your own journey with this because it's consistent. It really is. I have experienced falls into depression 3 times.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that could happen. I thought after the first one, I fixed it.
Yeah.
And I had this constant fear of falling again. And now I feel a bit like an old pro at it, but recognizing different symptoms within it and also knowing that, like you said, there is no such thing as healed, but really honoring the fact that I'm better because of this journey. The recovery is quicker. And that's something that I utilize for my own journey and in my practice.
Yeah,
And
so let's talk about that. Will you share with people how you've taken what you learned about yourself and how you're helping others?
absolutely. So I am a forever student. And along the way, along the journey, not only was I in therapy consistently, but I was reading, I was
Yeah.
learning, I was taking classes, I was training, I was doing all of the things because I saw that I needed more, right? I have to sign up, I have to do the work. And there have been some incredible practices that have come my way, some things that I've learned, some amazing resources and practitioners that I still utilize. And I love so many different modalities that are available. And the ones that have resonated with me in terms of working with others has really been human design and positive intelligence. So, human design is a synthesis of Eastern and Western astrology, Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, the Hindu chakra system, and quantum physics.
Yeah.
And it's this extraordinary tool that basically shows you who you're designed to be,
Mm.
who you're meant to be, how you make decisions, the best way to make decisions, how you best use your energy. And I love it because it really helps you to center into you. And so many of the things that ways that we behave that aren't who we really are part of our conditioning, are part of our experience in life, and very often part of our childhood and upbringing. But as we grow into who we're meant to be, as we know ourselves better, as we heal, we become more and more aligned with this design. And it's such a beautiful way to center. And then it also shows you how you behave when you're out of balance. So instead of beating yourself up for feeling a certain way, it's remembering, okay, this is how I feel when something's off. So, how can I get myself back into balance?
Mm.
What does that look like? Have I said yes to something that I really meant no? Um, is my nervous system dysregulated and I need to breathe? I need to bring mindfulness into my day. Where is it that things are
Sounds like a
off?
roadmap.
Exactly.
And I think, we have so many modalities. There's so many modalities out there. And what I love about human design is for people who are systems oriented, it really is such a phenomenal tool. right? To understanding self. And what I'm wondering, I have two ideas. Number one is maybe I can fill out some information and we could come back for a third episode and you could read my human design so people can understand what that looks like.
I'd love to.
I think that could be really fascinating. Um, and just kind of do that live, not do it like behind the scenes and then talk about what the results were, but actually do it live so people can start to see the value of understanding their own human design and really understanding how all of our experiences are divinely designed for us as a way to learn how to navigate life and to gain the lessons we're meant to gain and to become the person we are meant to be, we're designed to be. Would you be interested in that?
Absolutely. I would love to do that.
That would be so much fun. So, just as we wrap up in the last few minutes, can you just share with people what other services you offer in Inspired Journey Consulting, and how people can find you, even though all those things will be in the show notes, but just for someone that's listening that might want to know?
Absolutely. So I offer specific readings for human design. So that's something that you can focus on. I offer private coaching as well as group coaching. I have 2 different group coaching programs. And I am a speaker. So I do keynotes and I facilitate workshops. Some of the important things that we talk about within our coaching is we work within positive intelligence as well. And that is a system that helps to retrain your brain and has shown scientifically proven to do that to really calm the chaos and allow you to quiet that self doubt and those mean things that you're saying to yourself and have new neural pathways built towards positive, clear wisdom, which is what you deserve.
I love that. Awesome. So, guys, if you're interested, you can check out Jackie at inspiredjourneyconsulting.com. That's her website. I know she offers a free breakthrough session right there. I was checking out her website this morning. That'll pop up right for you. And on Instagram, you can find her at Inspired Journey Consulting. And this has just been awesome. I love the fact that you've been able to learn so much about yourself through such a traumatic and adverse set of experiences, and how you use the term come full circle, but understanding that we're never fully healed. It's all about a journey. The destination will be the destination, but we never really realize that, do we? Not until the end. So thank you so much again, guys. Inspired Journey Consulting. We're going to have Jackie back for a third episode where she's going to actually read my human design. So you guys can learn a little bit more about what that system's like, what that process like, and see if it's something that could be useful for you. So again, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Stacey.
I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm just so grateful for your vulnerability and your ability to have voice and choice in these experiences. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'm taking that with me, voice and choice.
I love it. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a great day.